Are you married but in love with somebody else? Well, this can be one of the most difficult situations to navigate, especially if you still love your spouse too. So, what is the right thing to do? Brad Browning here, marriage and relationship expert, and today I'm going to be talking about just that. What you should do if you're in a marriage, but you're head over heels in love with somebody else. Well, the first question you should ask yourself is, do you still love your spouse? If the answer is no, and you've been out of love with them for quite a while, then the path forward might be a lot simpler. You could try to buckle down with your spouse, get marriage counseling, and try to make the marriage work. But if you think you've done everything you can to make it work with your spouse, then exploring the alternative option might be something that you actually do want to do. Now, of course, decisions like this are never easy. Finances, children, family, those things can all be serious considerations that you really have to weigh carefully. And unfortunately, there's no one-size-fits-all solution that's going to work for everyone. But if you do still care deeply about your spouse, then there's several things to consider. First, you have to think about the fact that you and your spouse have built a life together. Like you've probably spent years getting to know each other, and it's unlikely that there are many people in the world that know you as well as your spouse does. You know what you're getting with them, and your spouse knows what they're getting too. And that is a huge advantage. And here's another thing to consider. When you meet somebody new and exciting and you begin falling in love with that person, it's really easy to overlook this new person's flaws. Or you might not even see those faults at all. In fact, if there's anything that I know for sure, it's that this new person does have a myriad of flaws that you probably aren't aware of yet, even though your emotions may be telling you otherwise. With your spouse, you already know what you're getting. Of course, it isn't perfect, and nothing is, but you have to realize that chances are things won't be perfect with this new person either, and you really do need to take that into consideration moving forward. Secondly, you know your spouse is committed to you. They've been through ups and downs with you, and yet he or she has supported you and loved you through thick and thin. Now, the same can't be said about your new love prospect. How do you know they'll be willing to tough out what you and your spouse have already been through together? There's a huge unknown there, and that's a risk that you'll have to take if you do decide to leave your spouse. Third, if you do have children with your spouse, you're going to have to think about how this is going to affect their lives as well. And obviously, this complicates the situation a lot more. Fourth, there's a strong psychological fault that humans go through when they see something fresh. It's like that new shiny toy that you really want, but really isn't necessarily better than something that's already tried, tested, and true. So a great way to think about this situation is to ask yourself how you felt about your spouse before you met this brand new person. Did you still love them dearly at that point? Were you happy? Could you still picture, a strong future together with that person? If the answers to those questions is yes, then it's likely that the best path moving forward for you will be to stay and try to make it work with your spouse. Because chances are the infatuation that you feel for this new person might just be fleeting. Now, I do just want to say that if you want to try something a little more in depth, you can try taking the free quiz tool that I have on my website that determines your chances of saving your marriage. So if you want to take that free quiz, just go to marriageguy.com/quiz. It only takes a few minutes, and it'll give you personalized advice based on your quiz answers. So go ahead and take that quiz for free after watching this video at marriageguy.com/quiz. But if you do feel like there are, massive problems in your existing marriage and you're totally fixated on them, then your spouse does deserve to know what's going on. So it's therefore logical to voice your opinion and try to actively make things work out. This is what marriage is really all about. When you decide to marry someone, you're entering into an agreement that this lifelong commitment will be the focus of your entire life. You need to exhaust everything with your spouse before you even think about a life with somebody else. Now, if you do think that trying again with your spouse is the logical course of action moving forward, then you absolutely must do whatever you can to make sure that this new person is out of the picture entirely. Remove their contact from your phone and social media. If you work or around them on a regular basis, just do what you need to do to limit your contact. The more out of sight they are, the more out of mind they'll be for you, and the more you can concentrate on making your marriage as good and as healthy as it possibly can be. Now, for more information on how to revitalize your marriage, then I highly encourage you to check out my full video tutorial on the subject. To watch that, just go to marriageguy.com. Head over there after you finish this video. Again, marriageguy.com. However, if all of this advice is something that you can't relate to, if you really did try to fix everything with your spouse, and you know in your heart of hearts that you'll be way happier with this new person, then what you should do is absolutely not engage in an affair. I repeat, don't cheat on your partner. Now, I feel like this is pretty obvious advice, but it does need to be said. There's too many things that can go wrong with an affair, and if you choose to go down that kind of precarious path, you might be asking for a world of hurt if your spouse ever finds out. So what you should do is get the wheels in motion as quickly as possible and file for divorce or separation. There's no point in prolonging the suffering for you, and you'll really be doing your spouse a favor by getting out of the marriage that you're just not happy in. But again, only do this if you're actually sure about what you want here. And when you do decide to break the news to your spouse, do your best to try to remain calm and unwavering. If they sense a bit of hesitation in your actions, they're going to try to fight for you, which is going to prolong the process and just add to the heartache. Now, if I'm being honest, this is overall one of the most difficult decisions that you'll ever have to make in your life. And it really is life-altering. So if you guys have any additional questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below, and I'll do my very best to get back to you. Or, if you think your situation is totally unique, then you can think about enrolling in my marriage coaching program. For more information on my one-on-one coaching, just head to marriageguy.com/coaching. It's way less expensive than marriage counseling, and you can do it without your spouse ever finding out. Again, marriageguy.com/coaching to start working with me one-on-one today. And that is it for this video, guys. Good luck. Thanks for your comments, subscribes, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye for now.